There's got to be something more. Catalina, 2030. Agent Catalina Duncan stared at the screen on the microprocessor strapped to her wrist. I know the signal came from these time coordinates in this general vicinity, Reggie, she said to her partner. She liked to tease him, calling him Reggie, although she knew he really hated it. She was referring to the Las Vegas area in the year 2030, the same time coordinates that would have displayed on his wrist processor as well. That was the destination of the latest activation of a time module prototype that was checked out by a temporal tester named Nick Umbridge, who then disappeared, literally into time, over a decade ago. Her partner glared at her, his dark eyes delving into her as if trying to pierce her soul. How many times do I have to tell you my name is Reginald Thompson? He replied dryly. As my colleague, Agent Thompson would be the appropriate address. Oh, come on, Reggie, she said with a grin. We've been partners for 3 years now. Surely that's long enough for us to drop the formalities. The older man scowled, adding more wrinkles to his ever-increasing forehead, drawing up his cheeks so tightly that there was only a minute space between them and his brow, so she could barely see his eyes. All right, fine, he said. I guess you can just call me Thompson. He relaxed his facial muscles a little and said, Now tell me again why we're here. I don't see any sign of Umbridge. You should know. We picked up a signal from the time module registered to temporal tester Nick Umbridge. We followed it here to 2030, she said with a sigh, as she quickly tapped at the tiny keys of the wrist processor. Catalina was all business now. It beats the boring surveillance assignments we usually get. At least we get to go into the field instead of staring at a computer screen, watching and waiting for a temporal loop or a time ripple that never appears. Well, we are here because one did appear, as you just pointed out, he said with a scowl. Really, Duncan, there's no need to exaggerate so. I'm starting to think you don't like our job. And you do? She said. Really? Nothing ever happens. In all the agency's history, Umbridge is the only one who has ever broken the rules. After he did, they added a remote retrieval switch that calls them all back from the command center. His prototype is the only one that doesn't have it. We sit monitoring a screen for something that can't possibly happen. There's got to be something more out there. Don't you ever want to go find it? What? Thompson said, raising his bushy brow. Let me see. His eyes fell to his own wrist. He began tapping the tiny keys with more concentration than she thought necessary, totally blowing her off. At least this would distract him from being peeved at her. He couldn't express his disapproval if he was ignoring her. Thompson was a hard man for her to read, even after 3 years. When he had first been assigned as her partner, she had found his aloofness attractive, even entertaining fantasies of pairing up with him outside of their cases. But he had kept her at a distance far past arm's length, rejecting every offering of friendship that she'd made. Even their relationship as partners remained strained. Let's just stick to the pertinent facts, shall we? Thompson said without looking up. Tester Umbridge started a number of temporal ripples when he went back to 1887 with a prototype module approximately 5 years ago in 2025. He's been on our watch list ever since. It looks like it's made its way back to the 21st century once more. I believe this is the second time it has come back. We've got to stop him before he jumps again. But where is he? Catalina said. I don't see anyone that matches the image on file. She scanned passers-by, scrutinizing all faces, comparing them to the image of Umbridge on the microprocessor on her wrist. The module was set for this time. The tracker node says it is in this area, said Thompson. Even if I could pinpoint the exact location where he landed, that was this morning. By now, he could be anywhere within a 30-mile radius. It's too bad we didn't pick up on the alert sooner. That's what happens when you work for an agency where nothing ever happens, Reggie, she said, teasing him again. She just couldn't help herself. The agents get lax, and stuff slips by unnoticed. You know, you're right, Agent Duncan, he said with a grimace. Regulations are lax. Procedures are lax. And our co-workers have gotten lax. It's disgusting. When I joined the agency, you really had to stay on your toes. Now, nobody cares. In the not-so-distant past, agents called one another by their title and surname, and not silly nicknames. Check out your tracker node, Catalina said, ignoring his verbal jab at her. Mine is showing a blip within a small triangulated area. We're close. A look of unexpected pleasure came over his face, but passed as quickly as it had appeared. Maybe you are learning something from me, he said, pushing his glasses up on his nose with one finger. You may have potential after all. She knew it was just his way of telling her he was pleased with her without speaking the actual words, but it still felt like he had reservations about her abilities as an agent. She couldn't help but be a little hurt by it. Maybe so, she said, turning her head away to hide a pout forming on her lips. Reggie is a hard-ass. He had been the whole time they'd worked together, so why did his hard ways still sting so much? It looks like he should be in that building there, she said, pointing to a blonde brick building across the street from the park where they were in, as she turned her attention back to the task at hand. The signage declared it to be the Las Vegas Public Library. Then that is where we'll go, Thompson said.